Looking back on what happened then, through the lens of Me Too now, do you think differently or feel more responsibility?
No, I felt terrible then. And I came to grips with it.
Did you ever apologize to him?
Yes, and nobody believes that I got out of that for free. I left the White House $16 million in debt. You are giving one side and omitting facts.
Mr. President, you've apologized to him.
I apologize to everybody in the world.
It is important to me that everybody who has been hurt know that the sorrow I feel is genuine. First and most important, my family. Also, my friends, my staff, my cabinet, Monica Lewinsky and her family.
But you didn't apologize to her.
I have not talked to her.
Do you feel like you owe her an apology?
No, I do. I do not. I've never talked to her. But I did say publicly on more than one occasion that I was sorry. That's very different. The apology was public.
That public apology did not take the spotlight off Monica Lewinsky, who tweeted today, "Grateful to the myriad people who have helped me evolve and gain perspective in the past 20 years. And you don't think a private apology is owed?
I think this thing it's 20 years ago. Come on, let's talk about JFK. Let's talk about, LBJ. Stop already.
I don't think you think President Kennedy should have resigned? Do you believe President Johnson should have resigned? Someone should ask you these questions because of the way you formulate the questions. I dealt with it 20 years ago plus, and the American people, 2/3 of them stayed with me. And I've tried to do a good job since then with my life and with my work. That's all I have to say to you.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Bill Clinton, aka Slick Willie, and his interview on NBC, which was really crazy. Now, the reason why he was there at all was to promote his new book, a so-called fiction thriller that was written alongside James Patterson, who was also there with him. The book is about a president who is facing impeachment. It seems kind of weird to write a so-called fiction book about an experience you had in real life, but I digress. That's why they were there. I've not seen the entire interview, but I'll place as much as I've been able to find from it in the box below. It seems like all the major news outlets and even NBC itself only want to play the specific part in question in this video, which was when the topic somehow got to Monica Lewinsky and the whole Me Too movement that's happening across the nation. Now, I understand that Monica Lewinsky was many years ago. It's 2018. That was in the mid 90s. What was it, like 94, 96, somewhere right around then. He went through the impeachment process. It was litigated. Whatever decision was made was decided back then. He apologized, quote unquote, apologized to the nation. I understand all that happened, but when these questions come up, you have to be able to handle them appropriately. You can't be getting all frazzled and irritated because a person asks you a question about a thing that you don't want to talk about anymore. You are a former president. This was a very big thing. You got impeached, and you out here promoting the book during this whole Me Too movement, during this whole time people are getting accused of sexual harassment, and you've had choice words about Donald Trump. So obviously this question is going to be asked. And NBC, I don't take them as being some kind of conservative propaganda machine, not at all. They're asking questions that are obvious that anybody would ask if they were in the interviewer's shoes. It's very simple. The way Bill Clinton was answering these questions, you could tell that he was still irritated. He was still frustrated. He still had the... How do I say? He still had the anger in his heart from that whole thing. And I'm like this, how are you angry, sir? What are you angry about? You are a rich man. It was crazy when he was talking about he was a victim. He was $15 million in debt. It's like, really? You're saying that? Bill Clinton comes off as a very emotional person. He'll say things and then instantly regret it after he says it. A smooth talker now, but he gets irritated very quickly. But back to the $15 million in debt. He does not have that kind of debt now. How do you make hundreds of millions of dollars as a politician after being 15 million in debt? That's what the book should be. How to go from being millions in debt as a politician without any kind of other skills, as far as I know. I don't think he was out there building houses and selling them and flipping them. Like, I don't think he was doing that to get his money back. He's been a politician the whole time, getting speeches in Russia for $500,000 for 30 minutes or whatever, using your wife's influence in the federal government to make money. That's how he made his money back. The book should be on that rather than this so-called fiction about if, like kind of like the OJ, I didn't do it, but if I did, this is what I would, that whole thing. Write a book about that, but I'll move on. The questions were being answered in such a childish and upset way. I'm sitting here laughing at the guy. It's like, see, this is why you are being treated the way you're treated. This is why people keep asking you these questions, because we know there's still something there. We know that you may reveal something. We know that you're going to get frazzled and irritated. If the questions keep getting asked and you keep giving the same old boring response, at a certain point, maybe the questions become less. I'm not going to say he'll stop being asked a question, but surely there won't be as many times that he does, because the response would not be anything really good for television. But overall, as I close, I just want to say that Bill Clinton, you're not a victim. You out here, dabbling in the intern pool. I think when he was in Little Rock, he made a regulation that said you couldn't do that. You couldn't have this improper relationship because of the power dynamic. I'm not saying that's right or it's wrong. And also, Monica Lewinsky did not claim any kind of rape. She said it was consensual. But Bill Clinton, you're the president, you're married. You can't be doing stuff like that. It's an improper relationship. You can't be fraternizing with especially when you are a married man with kids, or at least one daughter, allegedly. You see, this whole thing, and then try to compare it to Trump. Well, Trump never admitted to anything. There were certain comments that were made to grab him by the you-know-what when he was talking to Billy Bush, but that wasn't any kind of admission of assault. He was just saying, when you are a famous person, women allow you to do certain things. They want you to do certain things. It's not a matter of, I just go up to her and do it because I'm going to get away with it. It's a matter of consent. The consent is granted to you because of your position. That's what he was talking about. So to compare himself to Trump doesn't make any sense. Furthermore, the things that Trump was accused of allegedly happened long before he got into politics at all, let alone in the White House. Bill Clinton, you were in the White House doing this, in the Oval Office. How are you going to compare yourself to anybody else? Did anybody else do this inside the White House? The diversion tactics they were using, my man James Patterson was talking about JFK and all this and that. It's like, look, man, you're here right now. You're in the hot seat. Answer these questions. Don't try to deflect to former presidents, to the current president. You worry about right now while we're talking. Why are we talking about other people when we're here to promote your book? Talk about yourself and talk about what you have gone through, especially in the climate of Me Too and all that going on right now. It was funny when he said that Me Too is a good thing. It should be expanded. Well, under the current way that the Me Too movement operates, Slick Willie would most certainly be a target for expulsion. So I'm not really sure what he is requesting would be the best thing for him. So that's pretty much all I got to say. What say you? Do you think that Bill Clinton is an innocent man? He didn't do nothing. Do you think that the questions being given to Bill Clinton are unfair? Should the whole Monica Lewinsky thing just be let go for his sake, for the nation's sake, for Monica's sake? Or do you think that if you're out here as a public figure, former president, you're still trying to sell things to the American people, that these questions we have should be answered, or at least asked? Okay, it's one thing to not ask a question that is being requested by the public. It's a different thing when you ask the question and don't get an answer at all, or you don't get a straight answer, or you get met with hostility like Bill Clinton did. If I'm somebody that says, I want you to ask this question, and when it's asked, it doesn't really get received well, I can at least say you tried your best and it just didn't work out. Okay. However, if you just don't ask it, now I'm like, all right, man, like, what are we doing here? You're not doing what I request, so I'm not even going to watch you anymore. I'm just going to put you in the category as somebody there to give softball questions, and you're essentially a shield for the Democratic Party. But shout out to my man, I forget his name, but I'll put that in the description box, the reporter. He did a great job here, and he wasn't even really trying to grill him like that. He just, Bill Clinton, that is, got so defensive that it looked like he was grilling them. All he was trying to do was get a simple answer to the question, but Bill Clinton was so, combative and angry that the whole exchange came off like it was some type of battle, but that's not what it was intended to be. That about does it for me. So whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.